believe we need to be taught. Amen? See, there's a lot of people who want to tell you what to do, but they won't tell you how to do it. We need the how-tos. Amen? So I want to talk about what is a leader. Church expert and statistician George Barna. Anybody ever heard of Barna, the one that does all the surveys? Barna reports. He made an assessment. He said leadership remains one of the glaring needs in the church today. You would think with all the mega churches and all the leadership that we would be okay. But he said leadership is one of the biggest issues that we have in the church today. He also said, and I quote, people are often willing to follow God's vision, but too frequently they have no exposure to either vision or true leadership. People are willing to follow God's vision, but either they have no exposure to vision or either true leadership. And that's sad in the church today, as many leaders as we have, that there is no true leadership and no true vision. So that means that we got to do a better job, amen? We got to do a better job. One of the things I want to start out by saying, leadership is not just holding a position or having a title. True leadership is more about being than doing. True leadership is more about being to do. People will follow a person that is being a leader instead of a person that's trying to do leadership. Amen. You have to be a leader. And I'm still trying to get a question answered. Are leaders born or are they made? And I've heard both. They're made and they're born. But one of the things that I'm wrestling with is that no matter how much the prophet Samuel tried to make Saul a leader, he couldn't make him a leader. So it tells me that there has to be something down on the inside in your DNA that makes you a leader. You can train people all day long, but if they don't have leadership in them, they'll never be a leader. And you'll end up frustrated and disappointed because you will expect something of them that they'll never be able to produce. And you tried to make a leader out of somebody that had a gift. And many times we get gifting confused with leadership. Can I have a transparent moment for a second? I'll just be transparent. We're leaders, so we learn from each other. Iron sharpening iron. When we first started the ministry, coming up on 13 years next month, I put a lot of people in leadership position that shouldn't have been in leadership. I put empty people in full positions that did not have the ability to lead. I can't get help up in here. So the present challenge to a leader is being able to do ministry and to build, and at the same time equipping leaders to help you do the work. And that can be challenging because we need bodies in position, but many times it is better just to leave the position vacant than to put people in those positions that's not qualified to fill them. That's right. Why am I saying this? Because it's hard to get Saul off the throne once you put him in a position. Once Saul has been exalted to a place of king and leadership, it is hard to get him. He's going to have to die to get off the throne. And when we put people in leadership positions that should not be there, when we made a flesh decision and it wasn't by the leading of God, it's going to cost you to get them out of that place because they're not going down without a fight. So learn from my mistake. Don't put people in position just to fill a vacancy because it'll cost you. It is better to close that area of ministry down and just wait till God send an ordained person to do it than try to have somebody in there that does not have a heart for it and they're not anointed to do it. They're not, because they're going to cause chaos and there's always going to be some confusion and you're always going to find yourself having to pacify those type of people. And it's best just to shut it down and let it be instead of keep catering to somebody that does not have your heart. And I know it's not always easy because Samuel loved Saul. And God said, how long are you going to keep mourning for him, saying I have rejected him? How long will you allow him to occupy a position that I vetoed him out of? And many times we're trying to hold people in position and God has already cast them out of it. And we're wondering why that area can't grow and why it's confusing. And you're like, I can't put my finger on it. It's because you got a Saul on the throne. Okay, all right. Praise the Lord. So what is a leader? I'm going to give you 3 definitions. Don't write them down. Get to see them. J. Oswald Sanders gave the best definition of leadership. He said, simply stated, leadership is influence. If you're not influencing anybody, you're not a leader. You can dictate to people. See, there are a lot of people that are tyrants. They're in leadership position dictating, but they're not influencing. And so what they do is manipulate people to follow them, and it ends up being witchcraft. Because anybody you have to manipulate to follow you, that is witchcraft. That's a Jezebel spirit. So he said that the leadership, the meaning of leadership is influence. That's what he said. So what is influence? Influence is a person or thing that affects someone or something in an important way. A person or a thing that affects something or someone in an important way. Why am I saying this? Because you got to be careful who you validate. You have to be careful as a leader who you validate. Because once you start validating a person, the people that are following that person will begin to see that person as you.
That's true.
And if you have begun to validate somebody that does not have your heart and does not have your vision, then that person will begin to draw the people to him like Absalom. It's an Absalom